Listen up! It's going down! The Piledriver podcast! Let's go! We from the O! You need to know! We got Mike, Vince, and Tony on the show! Piledriver! Piledriver podcast! It's the Piledriver podcast!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another episode of the Piledriver. I am the best in the world, Mike Allen, and to my left is the hot Tony Ford. And down low on the day of the Stabbeth, bloody Stabbeth, young Stabby Vince. How are you, fellas? How are you? Oh, shit. Whoa. Calm down.
Oh, watch out, man.
Calm down, killer. Vince pulled out the Stabberton.
Oh shit! I was on another page. I missed it.
Yeah. Vince trying to
popping around.
Calm down.
Come on, man.
Jill Giles in the chat. Hello. Good evening to you tonight. We have a very special guest in the house. I just saw that comment. That's hilarious. Tonight we have a very special guest in the house. We will be joined by the owner of Divine Pro Wrestling, Ethan James. They are an independent promotion out of Michigan, focusing on women's wrestling. They have a big event coming up in April, the Sapphire Series, and we're going to have him on and we're going to talk all about it. So, without further, Amanda's in the chat. She said, "Oh my God, you guys are all wearing the same shirt. I love that." And it's funny because we did not plan that at all. Like, my shirt came out. I wore this to the AIW show that we went to on
Nice.
And Matthew Justice fucking hit Malcolm with a beer, and it got beer all over me and shit. So I had to wash it. And I just did laundry. I pulled it out. I was like, "Oh, show's coming on. Let me throw on this fancy new shirt." By the way, if you like our brand new shirts, the purple, the green, get with us. We can get you one. No problem.
Hell yeah.
$25 hairs, and we will take care of you. I believe, no, $20. That's right. $20. We said 20. $20. I was talking to our shirt maker. So $20, we'll get you one of these. We'll get you one of these rascals colors.
Yeah, they've been saying rascals.
They call them saying rascals. I was thinking more like
the Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys.
OG Hardy Boys. Okay.
Gotta show it all off,
Yeah.
Kind of glows in the dark a little bit.
It does. It's very nice. Peapod in the chat. What's up, my guy?
Right.
Without further ado, though, let's get this man in here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Ethan James.
This is my shirt. This is.
That was a good shirt. I like
that. Joe Cross said you do your own laundry. Yes, Joe. Yes, I do my own laundry. It's because I like my shirts folded a specific way. That's all.
Well, gentlemen, thanks for having me on.
How are you, my friend? How are you?
Doing fantastic. I had some storms roll through, but everything's cleared up just in time to be on here, the Piledriver podcast with you fine gentlemen, and be able to get to talk a little bit of the gospel of Divine Pro Wrestling.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Very, very excited to hear about it, man. We've been wanting to come out. We've heard lots of things. We've seen, the posters for the show. We are familiar with a few faces, but as always, we're trying to branch out and get out there more. It's why it's a pleasure, to have you on.
Yeah, fantastic. First off, I would shout out to Peapod in the comments. Directed me towards you gentlemen. Great guy. Basically gluing the Midwest together when it comes to wrestling. He is the lead commentator for Divine Pro Wrestling. Our color analyst is Summer Rawson. Without them, we wouldn't have a voice. So to kind of give you guys a little bit of background of Divine Pro Wrestling, if we want to go down that road, very short. I'm not the original owner of Divine Pro Wrestling. Divine Pro was started in 2018. It was owned by Rachel Green, who is the same owner of Horror Slam. Then pandemic hit. Stuff was kind of dormant. I don't want to say defunct, but it was dormant for a while. Show came back. Now, mind you, in this meantime, I had gotten back involved in the wrestling world. I got my start in the wrestling world in 2017, trained at House of Truth. Didn't really go anywhere from there because just between injuries, having a kid, and again, pandemic, everything rolled up. You don't really realize how fast 7 to 8 years goes by. Anyway, long story short, I ran a podcast for a while. We started videotaping wrestling matches, putting them up. They were doing good numbers. We found out the women's matches did fantastic numbers. Why? No one in the area was putting women's matches up. I've got on my channel, on the channel right now that hosts all the Divine Pro Wrestling matches, I have matches between Jason Hotch and Chris Sabin. Both are on TNA. Or, one's on WWE now. One is currently a TNA superstar. It's got 300 views. Leela Hall, who is a Divine Pro Wrestling mainstay, she, I believe, has one match that's got less than 2,000 views on our channel. So we found that was the thing. Once it goes on, we decide, hey, maybe with my background of being being in the industry, the connections that we were making, myself and my podcast partner, we said, hey, you know what? Let's look into starting something. Well, Rachel revived Divine Pro Wrestling. We got involved with helping out with it. One thing led to another. It's really hard to run one wrestling promotion, much less two. The opportunity came available for myself to acquire Divine. I acquired it, and now that's about the end of where I use I at, unless I'm talking about myself or like things kind of building that. Divine Pro has a very we, not me mentality. There is a fantastic crew that runs everything, whether it's involving Peapod, Kevin Calloway, he'd probably get mad at me for saying that, Annie O'Neill, who is our ring announcer, any of the numerous talent that we have in backstage hands. Divine is a collective. It is not a one-person show. I can't do it on my own, and that's why I need everybody to do it. But that's the short history of it, and now we're going into our third show under new ownership and just trying to reach new heights.
No, totally understandable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we totally get the whole weed mentality as well. As you can see under Tony's name, he is the head of production at Mega Wrestling. Tony does all the video packaging. Him and Bobby and his wife Jen, they handle all that stuff. Stabby, Vince, and I are referees and ring announcers. Stabby does some ring announcing and other promotions. We're very involved in ring mentality as well. We have the commentary team are the BBC Tommy and Yo Paulie the Hammer, again, our voice. So we definitely get that. We understand where you're coming from with that. But how has it been? Obviously, I know it's been very stressful running a company, but the fruits, just how it's got to have been amazing, correct?
It is. It really is. It comes down to a thing where I'm speaking on a personal level. I had to take a look and see where I was going to go in life. What was I going to do? Getting back into wrestling, it was fun videotaping stuff, but after you train, you get that itch and you say, hey, I want to get back in there. I want to do the stuff. Spoiler alert, I'm not good. Like, I'm just not good. I'm a shitty wrestler. Like, I'm the spot guy. So if you ever see, I still do wrestle, but like, it's, hey, we need a bump guy. Like, I'm pulling the curtain back a little bit. I know that's not the right thing to do, but it's, hey, we're going to put you in this match. You're probably going to get the shit kicked out of you. Sorry, I don't know where we're at on the
Somebody's got to do it.
Oh yeah, no, you're
Yep.
right. So that's where it boils down to me. But then I realized I'm in my mid 30s. I got a kid. I got a family. Like, this is not. I don't have the opportunity to go higher. But what I can do is I can spend my time, my effort, and my energy. I can couple that with the effort and energy of others. We can come together as a team and we can elevate people to reach their goals. And so that's what it's boiled down to is we're setting a place that we can lift people up from. We can put them on a pedestal and hopefully allow them to reach the upper echelon of wrestling, whether it's an AEW, a WWE, a TNA, or even I work with Flo out of Northern Indiana, and through that promotion and the leadership there, I have connections to get people to Japan to wrestle at FTO, JTO, different organizations that way. And so it's opened up this set of doors to where when we're able to get somebody to a different location, get somebody into a new market, put them in front of new faces to be like, hey, this person's really good at what they do, but they need more people to know that they're really good at what they do. That is endlessly more satisfying than trying really hard to get myself somewhere that I know I'll never be.
No, 110%. Like, you're helping push the stars of tomorrow. It's amazing.
That's almost how I felt. I felt in a similar spot. I came back and wrestled for maybe a year and a half, or trained and went into the production aspect full time instead, and I get the same fulfillment out of it that I did before, but I get to see all these newcomers to our roster flourish, and it's really great to see. Yeah.
And there does become a point.
And your back doesn't hurt at the end of the day.
Exactly.
There does come a point to it where you kind of have to look at yourself and go, okay, I'm not like, am I okay with not being recognized for doing this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And that was where I was at. As I came to that point and I said, no, you know what? I am like, I'm good with that. When we do shows, my name's not on the show. Like I come out and talk. I try to allow other people to talk about it. Whether it's Annie, she has a podcast of her own, Bumpin' and Thumpin', that we usually do a preview show for every episode on, or for every before every live show. It's more so I want people to understand that they can be an ambassador to the brand, but they also need to be an ambassador to their own brand. And so that's when we're looking at elevating people. What we want to do is help people elevate themselves, not just in the ring and the product that they put on there, but their product on social media, their product merchandise wise. Because wrestling fans love merch. We all have shirts. We all have shirts on, right?
One of the smartest things I've ever heard was from Matt Cardona about merch. He's like, "Oh, you don't think I'm not out at that table every second that I'm not getting ready for my match? I'm selling everything I got. They're gonna buy it. They're gonna buy it.
Gotta hustle."
And that's what it is it's allowing the access to that. Biggest thing that you can find is a venue that's got a place that people can set up merch tables at. And the biggest disappointment that I see is when wrestlers show up to a show without merch. And that's not a knockout. That's not a knock on women. It's not a knock on men. That is just a generalized statement. Bring merch to the shows, because if it gets to a point where you're like, hey, I'd love to make a little bit more cash, wrestling fans will buy anything. They'll buy anything. WWE sells title belts. They sell title. Yeah.
We saw
stickers, trading cards.
At the last event, he had pins, keychains, and stickers. I forget who it was, and he sold 90% of them. Like,
I want trading cards so bad for me.
Oh yeah, trading cards would be cool. Michelle in the chat said Annie is really fun. She's very passionate.
She absolutely is. Somebody who's very good at it. Somebody who's very good at merchandising them for themselves is Gigi Jacobs, who I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Gigi owns some form of merch. It might be an 8x10 that he printed off at CVS. He might have 50 of them, but he's got them there to sell to you. Like I have a signed one on my shelf. First time I ever met him, we were calling him Ronnie Garvin Jr. because we didn't hear his name over the announcing. And like now he's somebody that like I can just message out of the blue anywhere. Oh, hey, baby doll, how are you? Like,
oh yeah.
But that's somebody that it's so good. It's good.
We've seen Gigi a couple times up at Neo Pro up here.
Yeah, I was thinking Neo Pro.
Yeah. Jill Giles in the chat said we need a Colt Johnson trading card.
Oh, those sell out fast.
Oh yeah.
Big Mega and PPW.
Oh man.
Trading cards would definitely be a good one. But no, I agree. You know, like Ethan said, you grab yourself a nice, you go to get a green screen picture. You know what I'm saying? And you put a nice background on it, white background, whatever. Go to Walgreens, go to CVS. It's like $20. Print out 50 of them, and then you can sell them. Even if you sell them for $5 a piece, autographed, you sell 20 of them, you make double your money at least.
Yep. And so that's something as a promoter, which we're speaking on, of what we do at Divine, we bring in high quality photographers for you to get those really good shots. So we have multiple. We have our ringside photographers, which right now are almost permanently Renmark and Kim Buckman. They are our ringside photographers.
I'm familiar with Renly. I know
Renly Photography. Our videographer is Gil from Gilbert Photographer. I don't know what Gil's photography is right now.
I got you.
Jose, let me know. Jose did photos of the first event that I had the honor of being under me. Just money.
So
Oh, yeah.
Jose and
Jose's the
Michelle
best.
are our
Same with
ringside
Michelle.
photographers at Mega, and they get down,
Yeah.
man. They put out some quality.
Yeah, they kill it.
And then, so what we've been doing is making sure that we also have just a pose shot photographer on hand.
Okay.
So you don't have somebody that's focusing, because different cameras do different things. Different cameras take action shots better, things like that. So right now, Ronnie Jaquise from Figured Out, who takes phenomenal photography of figures, wrestling belts. If you've ever Gilbert Photo Independent Wrestling, yes, thank you, Pod. That is Gil. She is our videographer. Or they are our videographer. Gil is hands down amazing at everything they do, and it's a problem because I need like 7 of them.
Replicate.
Right.
Ronnie though, if you've ever seen anything that's come out of Hyperion belts, anybody who's used Hyperion belts, Ronnie is the photographer for them. So whenever a belt comes out of there, Ronnie's the first person to take it. Used to wrestle as Justin Pilgrim. I believe you guys might know that from Northwest Ohio. He used to wrestle at Now, Northern Ohio or Northwest Ohio Wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar.
Yeah. Anyway, absolute. Just certain people have such a great eye for that, and that's one of those things. Is if you're at a show, if you're a worker, and this is just me talking, if you're a worker and you're watching this and you're at a show and somebody is doing photos, the promoter has paid for somebody to do photos, or the promotion has, go get them done.
Yep.
Get promo photos at every single event that you're at, because different photographers have a different eye for things. They might get a different picture, also different angles. Not everything has to be a straight on picture. Man, when you're trying to build when you're trying to do a show, like a card, like an advertisement card, it is great when somebody has like basically every 3/4 shot, silhouette, everything, and not too many of them do. So that's one of those things that as a promotion we try to offer, is to have high quality photography on site, which once again, Jose, one of the coolest things that happened there is that we had 3 photographers. Jose came. I didn't even know that Jose was going to be there. Sat front row, took pictures. The building doesn't look like the same building as the other 2 photographers. And neither of those photographers, the building doesn't look the same in their pictures either. So when you have different people and they have different editing techniques or different lenses, things like that, there's different ways to capture things. I have one of our former referees, I should say, that he still refs. He's just not with Divine anymore. His wife comes and she takes photos from the back of the room, and it gives it this depth that's amazing. And everything's captured in grayscale or black and white, and wow. It's almost like when you would see those photos of like old sporting events, or like when you see like a WrestleMania 3 photo. That's what it feels like. It's something that. Yeah, there's like 110 people in a room, but it feels like 1,000 because of how it's shot. And I love it. I just love that we're able, because people like to take and put their creativity into professional wrestling, that as promoters, we're able to have the work that we put in and the work that all of the in-ring talent and everybody behind the scenes puts in, showcased in so many different forms.
110%. Michelle agreeing with you in the chat. Also, the baddest witch, Sebastian LaShawn, saying preach. Take those promo photos every chance you get. We've heard that a bunch as well, and not too many have I seen take advantage of it. Some do. I've seen
Peapod does. Peapod has never missed a chance to get a promo photo in his life.
Oh yeah, no, that's essentially us. If we're together as a group, if you catch all 3 of us together, we are taking a picture somewhere. Like, we're taking photos. Let's go. Piledriver Podcast. We're here.
Actually, Tony's the one that takes most of our promo pictures anyways, and same with Bobby.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Tony and Bobby and Jen, they get down and take our promos. So, but yeah, let's talk about this lift, Peapod, just real quick.
I'm a whore.
I'm a whore for promo shots. Let's get into this Sapphire Series, this upcoming event. I believe you said it was the 3rd event under new management.
Yes. So we actually get to do something very cool. So Uplift is a new queer bar in the Ann Arbor area. And they actually have quasi signed on for multiple events, right? Now, this is a very different venue from what we're used to running. We're used to running kind of a banquet hall scenarios. Everything's, seated. Everything's very spread out. This is basically, if the chair is at the venue, you can sit in it. But for otherwise, it's going to be standing room only, close to the ring. We're using a low boy, not my favorite thing to do, but we really wanted this I guess old school PWG hood slam kind of everybody's close to the ring effect for it. And it's really to build new fans, right? So the Sapphire Series is almost going to be semi like a house show, where it's going to have a little bit of a different feel than a normal Divine show. And we're going to kind of run them congruent because this is a 21 plus because of the venue. Now, mind you, everything that comes out of this is still going to go on YouTube. It's going to be PG plus, TV 14, whatever you want to call it. It's still going to be palatable enough that, you can watch it with your kids.
There's nothing going on crazy at the show. It's just because you are in a 21 plus bar.
Correct.
All involved.
Yep. That is it. The programming itself isn't going to change any, but we have this really cool opportunity to do this. So we had to come up with a name. Now, mind you, this is run on their Sapphic night. The night they run an event that night called Sapphire. We just decided, you know what, Sapphire Series, and we'll just line it up 1, 2, 3. They'll all be numbered after this, because that's one of the fun things about promoting is you get together with your group and go, what do we call it? We get to make up names for stuff, guys. This is awesome.
No, 100%. We've been there. We pitched a couple ideas to a few different promoters. Sometimes they've been used, and it's lovely when we have, you see, I see that poster over there. I came up with that name. That's why they called it that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, our last event was Endless Waltz. I'm a huge Gundam fan.
That's so cool. Yeah.
It was an easy pull for me. It's a really cool logo. I was able to kind of mess with it enough to get it tight enough to look really cool on the screen. But yeah, so this is an event that is really special to me too, because I'm from the Ann Arbor area. I grew up about 20 miles south of there. I spent a lot of time there as a teenager, going to the area, and I've tried really hard to find venues in the area to bring something in. And for the most part, everybody's kind of been a little hesitant to bring a wrestling event in there, or it just hasn't been a place that they've been able to have parking or different issues. There is another promotion that runs in the area. And one thing that Divine does, by the way, we recognize other promotions. We don't do we're the only thing that exists. That is not how it works, especially considering being an all-inclusive, all women's wrestling organization. We use everybody's talent. Everybody's talent works for us as well.
There's only 1 or 2 around here in the Cleveland area that are very much like that. That they're like, we're the only thing. We're the only ones. Nobody else matters. But for the most part, all the promotions around here work together as well. They all use each other's talent.
So it works out great too, because people like Storm and Stella Buho, they wrestle for another company that works at a building about 5 miles runs at a building about 5 miles away from where this venue is at. Now it's a very different crowd. That's a family friendly event. This is obviously, once again, family friendly. It just happens to be 21 plus. If you guys want to come out for a wonderful night, the ticket price for this event also covers your cover fee for the event later in the night as well. Okay. So you get in for you pay for the wrestling, you stay for the entire show. It's going to be really cool. We're going to have themed drinks, both cocktails and mocktails, based upon some of the wrestlers that are going to be in the event.
That's cool.
And we're hoping to just kind of have a really cool time where you're able to kind of mingle stuff. Junie said something about arm wrestling people after the show. I don't know.
I thought that's the Midwest muscle mommy, right? That's what
yep, yeah.
Hey, she's buff, dog. She was out like this. I was
dang.
So it's going to be a really cool thing. And this is main evented by the 3 on the bottom row. Heather Blue is going to be defending her Divine Pro Championship against Big Al Crowley, who you guys are very familiar with. And Storm Garcon, who Storm was actually supposed to face Heather at the last show. However, due to weather after Storm had defeated both Ray Larson and Jody Threat from TNA in a triple threat match to win the #1 contendership back at our Season of Change event in September of last year. Weather happens. You know what it is. Card subject to change. Snowstorm. Don't run an event in January, guys. Don't run an event. It's not.
We've
it's
been
not
there,
worth it.
Done that.
No, yeah, we drove down to West Virginia for an event in January.
Oh,
we just
that's
we had left the house. It was like a three and a half hour drive. We left the house. It probably started snowing 40 minutes into the drive and did not stop for the next 2 days. They almost canceled the show. Yeah, it was all bad.
Yeah, not worth it. Don't run an event in January. Anyway, it leads us to this. This ended up working out. So Al Crowley was able to defeat Leela Hall in our last show. Leela had, I believe, to that point, the longest winning streak in Divine. So Al kind of put her mark on it and said, "Hey, I want that belt." But Storm still had a rightful claim to it. The easiest solution, a triple threat amongst these ladies that you see in front of you. And I am stoked for it. I'm a big fan of all of them. Look, it's wrestling. We're all marks. Like I'll use the word because that's why we get into it. We all love it. We love wrestling. You don't get into wrestling if you hate wrestling. It's kind of
no, 100%. Al, I'm a very big fan of Al Crowley.
Yes.
440, the Blue brand. She was doing Christian Napier, Vincent Nothing, and Ricky Shane Page. They were absolutely demolishing the whole scene for a little bit. We've been very, very familiar with Storm as she has come to Mega Championship Wrestling before, and she has taken on Sebastian LaShawn in what were some absolute bangers of matches.
We've even had her on here, and she's one feisty,
individual
earlier there.
And they, those are things. It's what we look for. It's what you look for in talent. You love. I love when women's talent are excessively. There's an energy. There's an energy that comes to the ring. All three of these ladies show it. Now Heather, as she can rub some people the wrong way. We've seen, if you're familiar with Heather, the sass, the arrogance that comes along with Heather Blue. I don't want to tell Heather this, but part of the reason that I bought Divine was because of Heather. Now, it's in a roundabout way. I took my daughter to a wrestling event. It was Heather and Ray Larson. We got to sit very close to ringside just because of where it was. My daughter knows her as the blue hair girl, which is, makes sense. Identifying factor. But being a girl dad, it's just kind of was the natural gravitation towards the women's wrestling thing. I'm able to do this. I see it.
Also a girl dad.
Yep. I see it. The best part is these are all like sisters to me. That's the awesome thing. Like they're all like, I have two younger sisters, but they're like late teens, early 20s. And so that's how it feels. It feels like I'm putting on a wrestling show with my sisters.
Wrestling's one big family.
It is. Right. It really is. It's just this one's going to hit really hard because if you're watching this and you've never seen Al Crowley in a match, somebody's going to be bruised after this.
Oh yeah. It's not broken.
Again, we've been very familiar with Big Al.
Al was a former
former Baddies champion. The first time I saw Al, she was very, very intimidating. Like she walked out with Vincent Nothing, and the aura that she carried was just that she was just as big as he was, and she was beating up some of the biggest guys in the ring. So, I believe I've seen Heather Blue once or twice.
Yeah, she came to Mega.
She was at Mega. I mean,
she was at last show.
She was in the tournament, wasn't she? She was in
the Baddies tournament. Yep.
And I've seen her multiple times at shows, helping out and stuff. So she's very, very great wrestler in that sense. I love those types of wrestlers that are willing to help out. Again, she's the champ, but she's like, I'm going to stay after to pick up this chair too and help clean up. That's top-notch championship.
Pot is correct on that.
I'm telling you, bro. Big Al will dude. She's yelled at me. She's yelled at me a couple times. It's scary. She's scary, bro.
Heather's in the middle of an amazing reign right now. 6 months as champion, defending the belt at multiple promotions. She's defended it. She actually won the belt at a different promotion. She's also the 4US. She's the 4US wrestling champion. Stella Bujo was the former champion. They had a series of matches. The last one ending in a ladder match at 4US Wrestling. Heather actually came out on top on that one, and that's where she captured the belt. she's held the belt since September of last year. She's defended it at For Us. She's defended it at Divine. She's defended the belt at Chaos Wrestling Organization here in Port Huron, Michigan. Maybe others. I don't know. That's the thing is when you're the Divine champion, you have carte blanche to defend that belt wherever you want. So you end up going to Canada, you go overseas, you take that belt, defend it.
Cool.
Just give me the video.
Right.
Just make sure we get some footage of that. No, 100%, man. This sounds like it's going to be a banger of a main event. You know,
it really does.
It really is, and I don't want somebody to look at this and think Storm is the odd one out. Just with the presence that Al has, Heather's notoriousness for doing anything it is to win. Don't count Storm Garcon out.
No, you've never seen Storm Garcon. No, she can hold her own. Commands a presence, commands a room like Al does, but in a very different way. There's a different. It's an energy lift in the room. Al might come out, sink the room. Everybody's kind of but Storm comes out, the vibe is gonna change a little bit. You're gonna get back on your heels there.
Pretty sure the last time we referenced Storm, she threatened me. So yeah, definitely no players of that fiery spirit of Storm.
I've seen both sides of it. Yep. So that's the main event of the show. But we do have
this match that was announced, and you were talking about Juniper.
So Junie originally was supposed to face Pepper at the next Divine Pro show. However, we've kind of determined that this is a new venue. There's a lot of fire between the two of them. We don't really want to mess the venue up, right? Like we want to keep the venue. Mm-hmm. So we've decided to hold off on that. We're gonna wait till we have a little bit bigger space. But Steffi Mack is a new face to Divine. Steffi has wrestled in CIW, I believe Revolution Championship Wrestling. I believe she just made her debut there this weekend over in like Northern Indiana. I'm excited for it. Junie is one of those people that is on a little bit outside of the wrestling match. Part of it is a promoter's dream. This is somebody who constantly shows up with a promo, constantly is sharing the events, constantly shows up, gives 110%. Couldn't ask for somebody else to represent Divine, and that's why at the Battle Royal, which I believe is on July 12th. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
The Mega Converge Battle Royal will be live on July 12th.
Yes, Mega Converge Battle Royal, July 12th. That will Junie. I don't know if I'm spoiling it, but she's going to be there and she's going to be repping Divine. So
let's go.
There's going to be a lot of people there, so I think I can slide that one in under the radar.
Yeah. No, there's going to be a lot of people in that Battle Royal.
I'll be in
I know that Brandon is going for a world record of 160 participants in the Battle Royal. Yeah, and like Tony said, Tony is a former wrestler. Tony is going to lace him up one more time, and he's going to enter that. Why not? It's history. I'm going to rep it. That's going to be great.
I will say this. Here's the other thing too. At Championship International Wrestling out of Toledo, Ohio, Steffi wrestles there, also against Pepper. They are also a little bit of enemies here. So these two just need to be aware that Pepper's in the building. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
These two need to be aware that Pepper's in the building. I think that they can handle their own business. I'm excited to see this. We've got the Midwest Muscle Mommy, Juniper Gates, taking on the Festy Bestie, Steffi Mack.
The Festy Bestie. I love that. That's great. And then I was told, you did tell me a little bit earlier that you have an announcement that another match. We're going to drop another match here tonight, right here on the Piledriver podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to get a Piledriver podcast drop exclusive here. This is the first time. Hasn't hit social media yet. Hasn't hit anything else yet. Another person that we're all familiar with, the Guardian Owl, Stella Buho. Now, Stella has not been seen in Divine since Stella lost the title at For Us Wrestling back in September of last year. However, Stella's making Stella's return. Little bit of a different vibe this time. We've got kind of a darker tone to it. And it looks like some would say this Stella might have got her groove back.
Oh.
Little bit there. Now, Leela Feist is an OVW staple. Definitely somebody, if you've ever watched OVW, Leela Feist is on there. I believe out of the White River Wrestling Academy, Jake Omen's school down in Indiana. Super technically developed, gifted, great wrestler, absolute blast. Super nice human being. But when Stella gets it in her mind that there's a target, I don't want to be Leela Feist right now. That's all I'm saying. Owl's got talons.
I've never seen.
Owl's got talents.
I was gonna say I've never got to see a Stella match. I have seen she has come. She was most recently around here at Neo Pro Wrestling. She was at the Remix show. But the videos and pictures I've seen, she can go.
Yep.
So I've seen Leela on, like you said, OVW down there. I've seen a couple clips. This should be a good match as well, man.
Don't underestimate the size. Stella might only be about 5 feet tall, but remember that a bird with a 5-foot wingspan is awfully intimidating.
Oh, absolutely.
So this one's going to be really fun. It's a return to Divine. I feel like Stella's going to be wanting to make a statement here. And it's going to be really interesting. Now, there's something with Leela Feist. I do want to talk about this, however. There's other people on this show, and we don't really know how stuff's going to shake out yet. I don't know where Pepper's going to land. I believe Pepper's going to have a match on the show. Carter Kaufman's on the show. I believe Carter's definitely going to have a match on the show. We'll see what happens. Maybe they have a match together. I don't know. But before this, on April 5th, Divine Pro Wrestling powers the women's division at Fantastic League of Wrestling, which is wrestling out of LaPorte, Indiana at the Pine Lake Ballroom. We have a match there. Unfortunately, I don't have the card for you. I don't have the match card for it. With having two wrestlers named Leela on the show, it's very clear that somebody was a fan of Futurama.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
but Leela Hall and Ricky Morris recently developed as a tag team. After Leela Hall had lost to Al Crowley at the last match, she's been trying to bring Ricky Morris into the fold as like, hey, like, let me be your friend. Like, you need to cheer up. Ricky's a little bit of a brooding type, We finally saw them kind of click, kind of get on the same page. Ricky came out to console Leela after a loss against Al, which really probably she should have brought some ice packs, if we're being honest, but she brought a hug, so I guess that's just as good. They are taking on another set of really kind of on again, off again friends, and that happens to be Carter Kaufman and Leela Feist, who sometimes have to set their differences aside to tag team with one another. We'll see if that happens. We'll see how that shakes out. But that's taking place LaPorte, Indiana, April 5th, along with a ton of other matches on that show. I'm trying to think of everybody that's on that show.
I was going to say, I'm looking it up right now. The only thing posted by the Fantastic League of Wrestling is Birdo and Hippo versus King Mitchell.
Yep. And then I believe those effing guys are on that. Not sure if they've gotten down to Ohio yet, but those guys they're pretty interesting.
I got the card. I got it right.
Okay.
Those effing guys versus the Nocturnals for the tag team championships.
Which is Stella Buho. Sorry, forgot about this. Stella Buho is wrestling on that show. She is one half of the Nocturnals with El Noctumbulo.
Okay. Nocturnal doll. Makes sense, yeah.
We have, like you said, the Divine Tag Team Showcase. Leela Feist and Carter Kaufman versus Ricky and Leela Hall. Dragon Jones will be taking on Dylan Derringer.
Yep, hard to kill Dylan Derringer out of the Pure Pro camp up here.
Nick Diamond versus the Rapid Fire Tommy Gunn.
Yep, out of the UK, Tommy Gunn's doing a little bit of an American tour this summer.
Nice. We have a Fatal 4-Way, Alan Golden versus Princess Deathwish versus Rafael Quintero versus the Trash Panda, which I love that name. I love that name.
If you got listen, we're gonna talk lucha here for a second. If you guys have never seen either Rafael Quintero, the Princess Deathwish, or the Trash Panda, who believe you guys have probably seen Trash Panda. If I'm going to pull something up on the side here and send it to you, see if you guys have ever seen this. It's something that he has done in a different form, and I'm not going to ruin it, so I don't want to put it up on screen. I'll send it to you guys after this.
Okay.
Probably seen it. Guy's fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely fantastic wrestler. Watch out for the flying trash can because it sometimes goes over the ring. But check that out. Rafael Quintero is a fantastic traditional luchador. Think more like Psychosis. Definitely got like a Psychosis or like a Hoovy tube.
Hoovy tube.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that sounds. And then there's also a #1 contendership 4 corners tag team match. Thomas Bailey and James Fury, the Instruments of Destruction, versus the Saloon Slayers, versus Island Fury, Taino, and Chip the Manimal Walker, also known as Party Island, versus Cyberstorm, which is Gran Torino and Kenny 9.
Yes. Gran Torino is going in about a month to wrestle in Japan. He's going to go work the Southern Islands there. Once again, speaking to that partnership that I talked about earlier in the show, here's an opportunity for someone from the Midwest to go to Japan to practice and learn different styles of wrestling, get out of this area, and then bring those skills back. And it allows them to teach new people and be able to expose new people to new areas, potentially bring others with them. We were able to just send Aaron ADN over to Vietnam to wrestle. I don't know if you guys know him. He's out of the Skull and Bones area, or out of Skull and Bones in Toledo.
No, I'm not really familiar. It sounds familiar, but I'd have to see him.
Yeah, so ADN was able to go over there with Zach Abstract and wrestle. Man, yeah, that's just the cards loaded, top to bottom. Lots of tag team wrestling. If you can think like old school Saturday morning wrestling, that's what Flow is. That's what Flow is. Larger than life characters, super, over the top moves. You got really big characters. Chip Walker is a former Indiana State wrestling champion. Like amateur wrestling, dude's legit. He's a legit badass, but he's the nicest. You would look at him and you're like, there's no way he does that. And then he just lifts a 300-pound guy with no issues whatsoever, no assistance.
Nice.
Yeah, guys like that. James Fury and Thomas Bailey, they're from this area. I've known Thomas since pretty much the day he got cleared from wrestling school. I've taken a spine buster from him. You don't need to see a chiropractor. You just need to see Thomas Bailey.
Peapod said the spiritual successor of Chicago, especially with Mike Quackenbush being booked too for Flow.
Yes. Mike Quackenbush will be with Flow later this year.
Awesome. Well, tell people, Ethan, one more time where they can get their tickets for Divine Pro Wrestling. It is at Uplift in Ann Arbor. We'll put it right up here. Bam. I believe there's that QR code right there on the screen. You can scan that.
Yep. Yes, so there's a QR code. You can go to Divine Pro Wrestling on Facebook. You can find any page that has this picture or any of the match cards on it. There will be a link there. It'll be the Simple Tix link. You can go there, or you can message me, and then we can kind of skip the fees and we can handle stuff that way. Anyway, online tickets, $15. They're $20 at the door. Your cover for the show also, or your ticket for the show gets you in for the night. For cover, we went up a couple of weeks ago. If y'all like hopping around to Hot to Go and basically any Lady Gaga banger, it's a blast. There's a pool table there. That won't be active until after the wrestling show, but it's a brand new venue. They just opened in October of last year. It's really cool. It's kind of, it definitely looks like it's in a building that's goodness, almost 200 years old, I think, next to a railroad track. Used to be part of the track depot. It's got the really sweet, big steel beams in it and whatnot, but it's got a very modern feel to it. And the bathrooms are super clean. That's the best thing I can say is the bathrooms are super duper clean.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything more than that.
No, really, you can't. I will say one downfall is we don't have food on site for this. However, I am really happy about this because I'm also going to tell you guys this. because I also haven't announced this, so you guys are getting an exclusive on this. I have said that our next show, yes, our next show after this is on 5:30 here in Wyandotte, Michigan. But we actually just got word that it's going to be at the Wyandotte VFW Hall, and we're going to have that show. We're going to have somebody on site for food as well, along with like a cash bar and stuff like that. But we're definitely going to have food at that show, and that one will be a little bit bigger. That one's going to have a little bit more matches. That one's going to have even more star power at it than this one has. We're really excited that we were able to work something out with that. That is kind of around the corner from our typical venue in Wyandotte, who is just unavailable right now because they're very popular for uses. But yeah, I'm stoked, man. We got a big year coming up. We have this plus, I believe, 4 more shows coming up this year. And it's really cool. It's really cool. I love this. We've steadily grown everything. Social media numbers are up, view numbers are up. We're going to start posting single matches from the shows so right now you can watch both of the most recent shows that have been under new management. They're both on a Forklift Wrestling podcast on YouTube. That's where we host that's where the shows are hosted at. Eventually we're going to work it into, we'll have a Divine channel as well, so you can work them directly there. But we do have 5 matches coming out. Just to run this by really quick, so you can watch without running through the shows if you didn't want to do that. Coming up, you will have Leela Hall versus Al Crowley from the last show. It was the main event from the last show. That will be released on its own individually. Also from Endless Waltz, you will have Heather Blue taking out Jocelyn Navarro.
Okay. Nice.
That happened at the last show. You will have from Season of Change, you will have Storm Garcon versus Ray Larson versus TNA's one half of the TNA Knockout Tag Team Champion, Jody Threat.
Cool.
I think she still has that belt as of right now with Danny Luna. And then the last match will be, I'm trying to remember what the last one is going to be. I believe it is Leela Hall versus Kenzie Black.
Okay.
So I believe that was the first match on the first show that the new crew did. So I believe that is the one that will be up there. But you can.
YouTube?
What? I'm sorry. What?
That'll be dropped on your YouTube or?
Yes, that will be on the On a Forklift YouTube. So.
Okay.
And that's cheap pop on me too. You can go back and watch me do really dumb stuff on a Forklift because that's where I was for like 3 years. But don't worry about that.
Somebody's gonna go deep diving now. Somebody's gonna go deep diving.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find you.
That's fine. Go watch the Buff Bagwell interview. It was really fun, and I got to tell him about how I called his mom one time when I was drunk. You guys got 2.5 minutes, and you want to hear a really funny story?
Let's go.
Okay. This is not. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Hold, please.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, what?
Get naked? Oh, this got real rad real fast.
This has got real quick.
Oh.
This is not Divine Pro Wrestling related.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so this is from a prior life. I've been sober for about 15 months now. No, 16 months. 16 months. I've been sober for 16 months as of tomorrow. But back in the day, we used to go and hang out at my buddy's house and watch UFC matches. So I want to say it was right before Mickey Gall absolutely obliterated CM Punk. I just dog walked him. So it was right before that. But we used to do this lovely thing where we would all get together at about 2:30 in the afternoon. We would all ice each other because that's just what you did at the time. Thank you, Autumn. I appreciate that. And then we would just get absolutely liquored up and usually watch The Backyard, which is the greatest wrestling movie of all time. If anybody has or hasn't seen it, go check it out. Also, if you're wondering, yes, the Lizard is still alive. Yes, he lives in Reno still. So in the middle of that, we're all talking and we were like, man, wouldn't it be really funny to like see if we could like call Judy and see if she's okay? Because at the time, this was before she passed, there was nothing out there. We didn't know if Judy was alive, things like that. Our entire thing, like a big part of myself and my production guy, Clint, just former co-host of our show when we did it, our friendship is based on the Judy Bagwell on a Forklift match. And that's where the name on a Forklift came from. So we decided, hey, we're going to find it. Well, I found Judy Bagwell's phone number in like a Georgia White Pages website, and I ended up calling it, and she had a very sweet voicemail, and I left a message for her. Now, mind you, the boys are rolling on the floor laughing.
My guy drunk dialed Judy Bagwell.
Yeah. I was drunk dialed Judy Bagwell, left her a lovely message on the phone, basically talked to her if she was my grandmother. Never got a call back. Fast forward to February of 2023. I'm doing an interview with Buff Bagwell that I never thought I would get to this point. This was like, I don't know, 2016, 2017. It was whatever, like I said, whatever year the Mickey Golf fight happened. I'm talking and I said, so, hey, man, how many people like would call Judy? And he's like, I don't think anybody ever like called my mom. And I was like, I did. And so then I told him off the air the whole story about how I basically drunk dialed his mom, and he thought it was hilarious, which I was very glad about, because I was like, this is going to be really awkward if this
like this could be really funny, or he's going to be really pissed off at me.
Yep.
Yeah, boy, I hope you get real cool about some stuff real quick, Buff, because this is going to get real strange. But yeah, so that was that. I had it's just one of those things when you have this wonderful time. And honestly, doing that podcast is really how it brought me to this stuff. That's how I met Peapod. That's how I met John Bullard. That's how I met just so many different people in the world. You guys know how it is. Podcasting can lead to so many great things.
Yeah.
And it finally just got to a point where like the stuff outside of the podcast started to become bigger than what I was doing on there. And I really couldn't sacrifice every Thursday night at 8 to sit there for 2 hours and just rattle with my buddies and make fun of whichever company was doing really bad at the time was doing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, no, being on the podcast is definitely open. Like I'll say open doors. We've gotten to meet some dope ass people.
Yes.
And to talk to some cool people on here.
Talk to great
like
wrestlers. We've had umpteen guests on all over the pod. We've had Josh Jonai, who I'm sure you know him as well. We've had Peapod. We've had wrestlers like Storm on here. It's been a lot of fun, and like because I love wrestling, so it just works.
Because I feel like I owe Pod one. My cat fell out of the ceiling onto his head last night. I don't even know how to explain this. My cat got into the ceiling and she somehow got into my house is really old. So it's got the return vents are actually just run along the joists. So there's just sheet metal up and it's stapled up to them. Well, we're sitting there playing Magic, slinging the spells as the kids say.
Oh, love that.
And my cat fell out of the ceiling onto Peapod's head. Because of that, not just because of that, because he's just a genuinely good guy. I do want to make a clarification here. When he and Josh Jonai work together, it is not Penai. It is not Penai as Josh wants it to be. It is not Penai.
Yeah, we heard about
just to clear, I'm on Pod's side on this. I'm helping him out.
Yeah, no.
I agree. Unfortunately, it is not Penai, Josh. I disagree.
I have proposed Tide Pod.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
He's probably going to be mad at me about that one too, but I have proposed Tide Pod.
That's way better than Penai.
I agree. He's got the little bow tie. One of them is Pod. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, but I think Ethan so much. I want to, go ahead, man. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say thank you guys for having me on. It's been fun. Okay. It's been a while since I've gotten in front of a mic and talked, and it hasn't been some kind of like crappy Teams meeting for work. So this has been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on, sharing some stuff about the show. April 12th, I'm going to put it back up on the screen. Right up there, you go to Uplift. The address is right there, 210 South 1st Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
There's parking. There are two parking lots. There's a parking surface lot, and there's a parking structure immediately across the street. That's why I say buy your tickets in advance, because then they'll be like the same price as like if you were to buy them at the door and pay. Parking sucks.
Yeah,
parking's not great. I hate that. That is the one biggest thing that I wish I didn't have to do with this venue, which is why it's really cool. The May venue, the parking is on site. We don't have to worry about that. But this is a really cool opportunity that we have with Uplift, and I want to thank Uplift again for giving us this opportunity to take a chance on wrestling and put wrestling in downtown Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I know that my daughter has a softball game that day, but it is during the day. So I'm gonna try to make it. Maybe on my way through, we slide through Sandusky there to pick up young Tony Forge, and just on our way up to Michigan. So I've already Googled the address. I've already timed it out on how long it would take me to get there if I could make the doors. So I'm gonna right now, Ethan. I'm 60-40 that you'll see at least one of the members of the Piledriver.
Awesome. Yeah, just hit me up. Like I said, doors are at 6, bells at 6:30. Good news is we got to have the ring out of the building by 9. So the show is going to be pretty unless they continue to fight outside the building, at some point the show is going to be over by that point. So that is, I was going to say that is something that we always preach to. We want to make sure that these shows don't, like, we've all been to a 4-hour wrestling show, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not always fun. So one of the things that we preach, especially when we're able to run at a family-friendly venue, is that we want to be able to get you guys out, get you guys home, so you can pick up food on the way home, things like that. Obviously, post-pandemic, it's been a little bit hard. I mean, the only thing open is White Castle. Not a lot of places stay open past 11.
We don't even have a White Castle around here.
We don't even have White Castle.
No.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got Del Taco up there too. We don't.
Hey, we got sheets too now, though. We got sheets finally.
We got sheets. Oh, finally! It's been a while for the sheets.
No, I live in the town that the first sheets in Michigan opened at. So and it's on my way to work, so it's great. I can get some schnuggets or a snack wrap or some schnicken strips. I don't know what they're called. That one doesn't really have a cool name.
I don't know if you drink coffee, bro, but they have in there, it's like Sheets branded, their cans of coffee. They have a blueberry muffin one, a chocolate banana one, and like a peanut butter one. They're all delicious. Like it's like
I'm a sicko. I drink just straight black coffee. No creamer, no sugar.
No.
Oh, you get along real well then, Ethan.
There you go. Yeah, you
I'll take my coffee black. That's the way I like it.
I'm a basic white girl.
But make sure you get your tickets right now for Divine Pro Wrestling, the Sapphire Series at Uplift on April 12th.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. We definitely appreciate having you. Anytime you want to, have anybody come on, help promote, you can come on again, send somebody our way. We're more than happy to have anybody on, man. We'd love to have a couple, introduce the ladies out here to Northeast Ohio if they're not familiar.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Al walks away with the belt, and you guys are gonna have to put Al on the show. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
We'll see. Thank you, man. We appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you so much. Have a great one, gentlemen.
Have a good night.
Make it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ethan James, the owner of Divine Pro Wrestling. Make sure you get out there and get them tickets. Like I said, I'm gonna try.
Sounds like a good show.
It's always got a game, but I'm going to try my best to make it out there. It seems like a banger of a show. And like he said, Big Al could definitely walk away with that title. But man, Vince, I got some, we got some AIW stuff we're going to go over real quick. The results from last night, Barely Lethal. And then in the chat, we got the results also from RSW.
Yes.
With No Love, No Lost, I believe it was called, out in Buchanan on Friday night. So let me go over those real quick. We had the fire ass 4-way match was. Theo retained his heavyweight championship over Kerry Morton.
Oh, okay.
Lexis Sin retained her RSW Women's Championship over Luna. The Feisty Boys retained over the Sawyers. I saw a clip Cody posted from that. He speared one of them Sawyer boys through a table. Kevin Tyler, former NXT Tough Enough standout, beat Johnny Duff. Maverick over Muscles Gatton, and Trevor Gage over Logan Taylor with the help of Johnny Duff. So it seems like the problem for the unappreciated and Logan Taylor are not done yet.
That sucks. Logan Taylor's the guy.
Logan Taylor is that guy, but we know that they are coming back to Parma soon. But before Parma, April 26th, the Hoss tournament down there. We'll get into that. Obviously, we get closer. Maybe we'll get some inside info as to some of the participants in that match. But I can't wait
see if I can get down there.
Can confirm 2 Piledriver members will be down there.
And we'll be on commentary that night.
Ooh, dude, gang. We gotta do
that's
something
right, you
cool
guys
for
are.
that.
Bang, bang. So that'll be a lot of fun. But let's talk about last night, me and Vince and Big Rich.
It was Friday night.
Friday night, my bad. I'm behind. Friday night. It was Friday night. We went out to the Roxy in Lakewood, and we got to enjoy some AIW Barely Lethal. I mean, I got a sweet picture with Jay Lethal as he was coming to the ring.
Hell yeah. Nice.
It was cool. The Sandman walked right by us again.
He walked on our chairs.
He walked
He
on our
almost
chairs.
hit Pedro in the head.
He did pour beer into Rich's mouth, which was pretty it was pretty fucking cool. I don't drink, obviously neither does Vince, but I think that was one of the cases where I would have made an exception had he not
I put my fist up. It was either gonna get a fist bump or I was gonna bump a beer away from me because I was not worth it. But yeah, that was. I mean, we got a photo with the Sandman. He actually spent a good couple minutes talking to me. Looked like I kind of took his mood from being real not great to a little more uplifted. Just BSing with him. But yeah, it was great. We almost saw Pedro get smoked with the kendo stick.
Tony.
Dude, like inches. Like I'd say like that far away.
Somebody posted a picture. I believe it was Tom Dunn. Posted a picture because he was out by the booth, which was back here, and it was who was it? Dr. Daniel Rockingham or whatever.
Yeah, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. Yeah,
he was on the stage, and the Sandman came out. He said he wasn't scared of nobody. He won his 6-way match because he cheated, and he said he wasn't scared of anybody. Then all of a sudden, the Enter Sandman from Metallica hit, and the place went apeshit. I mean, it was awesome. Sandman walks by, he hits this dude with a kendo stick 2 or 3 times. The dude's trying to run away, right? So here's the stage. Pedro's over here on the stage. The ring, the walkway's in the middle. This dude's trying to run away. He gets up. He's right here in between Pedro, this dude, and the Sandman. The Sandman whacks Daniel C. Rockingham with this kendo stick, dude. No bullshit. The way it bent, it was this close from Pedro.
Like literally
he caught a rolling heel kick.
Yeah, from Shaw.
From Shaw during the main event.
It wasn't a rolling heel kick. It was Shaw got whipped into that corner, and when he hit, he flipped up, and that foot went up. Man, Pedro, I thought Pedro was gonna beat Shaw, man. Like he was so mad.
Yeah. Matches of the night, in my opinion, were Big Sam, Sam Holloway took on Derek Dillinger.
Yeah, that was good.
It was a great match, and Jay Lethal, obviously, versus the Northeast Beast, Alex Price.
My God,
the fucking machine, dude.
Dude, he is a champ, like one of the best.
It did take Jay Lethal to go to some unscrupulous tactics with the low blow to beat Alex Price.
Which I was surprised.
Jay Lethal did come out victorious in his AIW debut. He came out, man, and he said, if I'd have known it was going to be like a big-ass party, I'd have made my debut here a long time ago.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised it was a debut for him. He's never been here before.
It was cool. Vince, Vince got to shake hands with him and get some cards signed. He seemed like a cool dude. Like Vince said, Sandman was dope. He took a picture with us. He wrapped the kendo stick around our necks.
That's cool.
It was cool. Overall, show's pretty solid. It was an okay show. A couple of the other matches were not, but you'll have that with shows. So
they were really giving the referees the runaround every single match. Jesus.
Yeah, and people definitely don't like Jake Clemens.
No,
they don't like that referee at all.
They just want the sexy referee. I don't even know his name.
Yeah. Sexy referee.
Yeah,
the guy that took his shirt off at the one show.
They threw a beer to him in the ring, and he drank stone colded this beer, Tony, and his ref shirt got all drenched. and he took it off, and the dude, I mean, he's fucking ripped. Like, dude's got like a
Yeah,
12
like
pack
an
and
8-pack.
shit.
Right, he could be a wrestler.
And,
Yeah.
and they fucking started chanting "sexy ref," so that's all they wanted. You know, every time he came out, he got a cheer, and every other ref
Oh,
shit
shit.
on. But yeah, overall, it was a decent show. Great time with my friends though, so that makes it better as always.
For sure.
It was, you know, it was fun, man. It was fun. Like, it was different, a different vibe for sure.
It always is.
Bar shows are different. Obviously, it's
Right.
a little more R-rated than the PG-13. But
There were still
also,
kids there though, which is
there's
wild.
still-
I
there's
mean,
still
that
kids
is
there.
wild.
No, it was
Taking your
definitely
kid
a
to
lot of
see the
fun.
Sandman at a bar, that's wild.
I mean, the one there was like a lady behind us, dude. She had her little daughter with us, and like the daughter had got the Sandman's 12-pack box, like the
Yeah.
case, and she like had it on her head and shit. Like, yeah,
Oh my god.
yes, this
That's
little
it.
kid rocks, dude.
I mean, I would have done it.
So, but yeah, all in all, it was a good show. I know that the next show we have coming up, I believe, is next Sunday.
Correct, PPW.
Power Slam Pro Wrestling Black is
All right.
back at New Philadelphia. And then we have EFW, and then we have Neo Pro at the Diamond Club or whatever club it's at, strip club.
Diamond.
But it's at the strip club. It's extreme. There's the fans bring the weapons match, which we're gonna get into this card and stuff more coming up in the next week.
Jen's really excited about that show.
So it should be a fucking blast. But we'll get into these next week, and we'll pull out these cards because NeoPro has announced his full card. So we'll get into that, and we'll get into what RXW's announced, plus what's coming up for Mega at Breaking Down Barriers on May 3rd, which that's where you need to be. So get with us for tickets for Breaking Down Barriers. Hopefully we'll see you at EFW, NeoPro, Mega Championship Wrestling. If not, tune in on Thursday nights to Mega Championship Wrestling's Facebook and YouTube for Thursday Night Turmoil. I hope you guys hold it down this week. Sadly, I have to work second shift.
I got you, G.
Unfortunate.
But the main event has already been announced, so make sure you tune in as Dontavio will be making his Turmoil debut to try to get that Infinity Championship away from Colt Johnson.
Yeah, that'll be a hell of a main.
So tune in Thursday night, 8 p.m. Boys, do we have anything else for the Piledriver faithful?
Yeah, I got some flowers to give. Shout out to Andrew Burkett at RCW Rubber City Wrestling. He had me come out yesterday, help him out with some camera work, so that was real cool. Got the little more behind the scenes action. And then it was just kind of an awesome opportunity to have. And also shout out Pedro for hooking up. I bought our tickets for Friday's show separately, and he ended up making sure that we were locked in at a great spot together. So thank you, Pedro.
Yeah,
nice.
Sure. I mean, Pedro DeLuca is the man, we all know.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's all we got for this week. We will see everybody next week right here at 8 p.m. live. Thank you all for joining us. See you next week.
Later.